You're lying in bed, lights off, just that blue glow from your phone lighting up your face. Your thumb scrolls through banking notifications, and then there it is. Congratulations, your credit limit has been approved. Or maybe a message from a lending app, funds disbursed now. In that moment, it feels like winning a mini lottery. There's a warm rush in your chest. Finally, the system considers you worthy. You can buy that laptop, renovate the house, or just breathe easier knowing this month's bills are covered. It feels like you've hit a financial milestone. You feel adult. You feel stable. But wait. 2 weeks later, that notification changes color. No longer green approved, but red payment due. And the amount you owe isn't just what you used, it's plus interest, admin fees, and late penalties hiding in the fine print. Suddenly, last night's win becomes next month's burden. The financial world whispers, "We'll give you money today, but we'll take your freedom tomorrow." Most people think getting access to debt is a sign of financial success, but for banks, that's exactly when they start locking you into their game. Hitting that number feels like a victory, but the rules change instantly, and most people lose their stability right at that moment. Section 2. Problem Deep Dive. Let's be real. Debt is like a roller coaster you board blindfolded. At the start, there's that adrenaline rush of climbing, buying dream stuff, covering cash flow gaps. But once you hit the peak, the track changes. You're not steering the car anymore. Gravity and interest are. Banks never really teach the difference between wealth-building debt and wealth-destroying debt. They just teach you how to fill out the form. The stats are grim. In many countries, the average household spends over 15% of their income just paying interest on consumer debt. That's not investing. That's a voluntary tax on lifestyle. The problem isn't that you're bad with money. The problem is the system is designed to keep you in the just pay the minimum zone. They call it leveraging. You call it lying awake worrying about payments. The pain is real. You feel like you're running on a treadmill, sweating, exhausted, but going nowhere, because every income bump gets absorbed by a new payment. You're not broken. Almost everyone is in the same boat. This system is tuned so most people never wander too far from the gravity of bad debt. Section 3. Intro and Disclaimer. Okay, breathe. My name is Ted. I'm obsessed with how money actually works, not how banks want you to believe it works. Now, mandatory disclaimer because I don't want to get sued, this is for education and entertainment only, not financial advice. I'm not a certified financial advisor. I'm just the friend pointing out where the floor is slippery. Consult a professional before making big moves. Now, let's dismantle this debt illusion. Section 4. Explanation of changes. So what actually is the difference between good debt and bad debt? It's not about the labels marketing gives it. It's about Phase 1 versus Phase 2. Phase 1 is when you get the money. This is the dopamine phase. Banks spoil you here. Low introductory rates, reward points, cash back. They make you feel smart for buying something now and paying later. The psychology is simple. Humans tend to value instant rewards more than future costs. That's why credit cards feel like free money. But Phase 2 is when the bill arrives. This is where the system's incentives flip. Banks don't profit if you pay off fast. They profit if you make minimum payments for 10 years. Bad debt is debt that takes money from your future self to buy stuff that loses value today. New car? Value drops the moment it leaves the lot. Latest gadget? Obsolete in a year. You're paying 20% annual interest for an asset worth zero. Good debt, theoretically, is debt used to buy assets that generate cash flow greater than the interest cost. But be careful. This is the most dangerous trap. Many people call investment debt good debt just to justify lifestyle creep. The system rewards you for feeling productive when you're really just delaying poverty. After scarcity, it feels natural to want a reward, but that reward is often debt in disguise. Visual cue. Animated scale tipping heavily towards interest paid versus asset value. Section 5. Math and Data Backing. Let's look at the numbers because math doesn't have feelings. Say you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 24% annual interest. If you only pay the minimum, it'll take about 8 years to pay off, and the total interest could equal your original principal. You paid $20,000 for a $10,000 item. On the other hand, if you invest in the stock market with an average 10% annual return, your money takes about 7 years to double. But since that credit card interest is 24%, that's a guaranteed negative return. No safe investment consistently guarantees 24% returns. So mathematically, paying off high-interest debt is the best investment you can make. Data from the Federal Reserve shows retail investors often lose due to the behavioral gap. They borrow at high rates to invest in uncertain outcomes. Boring wins. Paying off bad debt always wins long term. Section 6. Contrasting stories. Let's compare two people. Call them John and Josh. They both just got approved for a $10,000 loan. John sees this as a shopping opportunity. He buys a nicer car for work image. His monthly payment is $300. His income goes up, but so do his payments. 3 years later, his car's value dropped to $6,000, but he still owes $8,000. He's trapped. He can't switch jobs because he needs the salary to cover payments. He drifts back to zero every year. Josh, on the other hand, uses the loan for a small business venture or income-generating asset. Or even better, Josh declines the consumer loan and saves first. Josh sets a rule: debt only for assets that pay for themselves. 5 years later, John is still paying interest on a used car. Josh has a full emergency fund and growing investments. Josh gains freedom because he treats debt as a tool, not extra income. Statistics show people with 3 to 6 months of emergency savings are far less likely to fall into consumer debt when emergencies hit. Visual cue: split screen animation. John on a sinking boat, Josh on a steady ship building. Section 7. Actionable Playbook and Close. So what do you actually do tomorrow morning? Don't just hear theory. Here's a simple playbook to protect yourself. 1. Set your floor first. Before taking any debt, make sure you have an emergency fund. Without this, every emergency becomes new debt. 2. Calculate the true cost. Don't look at the monthly payment. Calculate the total you'll pay until it's fully paid, including interest. If it's more than 20% over the item's price, don't do it. 3. Be suspicious of sales pitches. If the bank calls offering a credit limit increase, that's not a gift, it's a trap. Politely decline. 4. The 24-hour rule. For non-essential purchases, wait 24 hours. Usually that urgency is fake. Shift your mindset. Money isn't about how much you can borrow, it's about how many options you have. Debt reduces options. Cash increases options. The real catch isn't the interest rate. The catch is the illusion that you need other people's money to feel successful. Protect your first financial stability milestone like it's the floor, not the finish line. Because if the floor collapses, there's no finish line you can reach. Stay skeptical, stay stable. I'm Ted Money, and I'll see you in the next one. Visual cue: Ted Yellow waves goodbye, screen fades to black with channel logo.